What's good, family? Welcome back to Power After Hours, your favorite power podcast. Jeff J here, Chrissy Bree on the other side, and we are here to recap Power Ghost, Book 2, Season 3, Episode 2, Need versus Greed. Chrissy, how you feeling?
I am feeling good. We're back on a Monday, how it should be. You feel me? I'm just glad that we can talk about it to a point where I didn't forget. I'm still fresh in my brain. How are you feeling? You good? Got the fresh air due?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You came with the fresh dew, so I had to get my hair done. Y'all caught me in between weeks, you know what I mean? I had to let the hair breathe, but ready to go, ready to rock, and ready to rock with y'all as always. Power After Hours on YouTube, Power After Hours Instagram and Twitter. Shout out to the live chat gang. I see y'all already getting crazy in there. Keep talking it up. Like this video if you love what you're hearing. Shout out to the replay gang. Definitely got love for y'all. You know we're going to be in those comments later on. Shout out to the podcast gang listening by this time in a few hours from now when we upload it. So thank you for your support, the OGs. Let's talk about need. Let's talk about greed, because there is a drastic contrast in it in this episode, because we see a lot of workings, back dealings and workings and all of the stuff that's being done in the shadows. Some of it comes to light, some of it is amplified in the shadows. And you know what, Chrissy, I want to start with Brayden, because
okay,
why you say it like that?
The way you said, you know what, Chrissy, I just want to start. It was the way you said it. It was so professional. And I'm like, oh, okay. What would you like to start with regarding Brayden? The Dawn.
Talk about Brayden. Yeah, Brayden. All right. So, as we know, these kids got weight to move. Yeah. Noma's in town. She don't want to hear no excuses, nothing like that. They got to move this weight. And we see in the episode when they all connect, Brady, Effie, the Fantastic Four, Brayden, Effie, Tariq, and Kane, they all have their assignments of where they're going to sell, right? You know, Kane hired his folks. He got some guys from Southside. So, you know, there's still that light connection to Book 3 because he got them from Southside. If you listen, it's kind of ill like that they mentioned that, but they definitely got them from there. Brayden's gonna sell in the country clubs. Effie is going to sell on the circuit, on the Ivy League circuit, right? And they bring up this point. You know, Brayden brings it up again, like, yo, these dudes on Wall Street, they will sell us out. This is easy money right here. We need to be in that. And RICO ain't trying to hear it. And I'm not gonna lie,
I'm kind of with him.
This is as prudent as he's been, and it kind of what separates Tariq from Ghost. And I'm gonna get to that later on when we get to how it goes, right? But he basically mentions, and let's talk about this first, Chrissy, how there's more at stake for Tariq to lose as opposed to Brayden. Because Brayden went to court and admitted on the stand that he was the drug kingpin for a major undercover drug organization on an Ivy League campus. And all he got was a 6-figure internship job, basically, at his father's firm. Yeah. Meanwhile, Tariq can't find housing. Yeah. And everybody hates him. So he can't. So that risk is elevated for him, and he ain't trying to hear none of that selling at Stansfield.
Yeah, and I understood where Tariq was coming from. In one aspect, you do see the money, you do see the fact that they could essentially live, right? Because Noma ain't just saying you got to move my product; she's saying move it or die. So it's like it's like he's giving you the means to put all of this to rest. And Tariq is still saying, like, bruh, like we just went through this at school, where my life took a drastic changed, not only from you not being there, but you also got to remember he lost Zeke. Zeke was also his meal ticket in a way, where he was there to make Zeke pass. So, Tariq has lost a lot in this process. Brayden should have, like any normal person under normal circumstances, would have lost a lot. But Brayden is white. He is from an affluent family that makes buco bucks. They on the Wall Street. Like, there's just so many things where he should be getting in trouble, but instead he's getting a cushy job. He still gets to drive his Mercedes. Like, there's so many things. And you got Tariq over here, like, what do I have to show for it? Other than the fact that I'm almost dying every fucking week on this show. So it's like, what is going to happen here? Like, I understand where he was coming from, but at the same point, I also want to understand where Brayden's coming from, where they could do it smarter and better, if they operated it from a different standpoint. But Tariq has to protect the fact that he has more to lose. He has got Yaz, he's got his mom, and eventually that's his end game, is to be reunited with his family. And should he lose it all for dealing drugs at this Fortune 500 company, that's it for him. There is no cushion job. He's done. He's in jail. That's a wrap. So I get where Rick is coming from, and it made me feel, when you think about it and you look back over the seasons and everything that he went through, it makes you feel bad for this kid, because he has had to sacrifice and lose so much. And Brayden essentially is doing the same thing, but he doesn't have the same risks.
Exactly. Power After Hours, your favorite power podcast. Tapping in with the tap in. Shout out to the chat. Let us know how you feel about Brayden's master plan, because we got to talk about their Power gives different characters throughout the course of the different series. They give the supporting characters the chance to shine, to show that at its core, Power is a game about the distribution and acquisition of influence, gaining leverage on your enemies, and using whatever type of cunning intellect that you may have. So it may be wisdom, it may be guile, it may be intellect, whatever you use your resources however you have to get to your ultimate end game. And Brayden saw that, because Brayden knows, on one end, he knows he has ultimate privilege, right? On the other hand, he loves this drug game, and this is the first thing that he's done that has been about him. He's self-made. Forget the fact that it's an illegal activity and is frowned upon, but he did it. He built that with his own. He did that off the strength of his first name, not his last name, right? So he wants to keep it going. He understands his man isn't trying to get caught in the line of fire, but he also understands, this is probably as low risk, high reward as going to be, but I can't convince Tariq. He has to see it for himself, because he knows Tariq is calculated. And once Tariq sees something for himself, he'll be able to figure it out. But how are we going to do it? My man got an internship with Tate. He ain't trying to mess it up, and he's trying to get back on campus. So what do? This is like a multi-step plan that Brayden breaks out. Was genius. First, you got all these dickhead interns that work at his father's spot. One of them seems like, at the very least, he's running like a 4 to 5 on the racist scale, calling Kiki Omarosa the chief of staff or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Doing that. And he sees that, and he kind of posts himself as an ally. Hey, where he stands up for her. And you know what I mean? He ends up with this job. Right. He ends up actually winning in two separate regards, right? Absolutely. So the first part of his plan is he needs to get Tariq into his father's spot so that Tariq can see for himself. So how does he do that? It's like, okay, we need to open up an internship spot. What better way than to frame the dude who's already showed tinges of racism, 2, is rich, so he's gonna get something else anyway.
Correct.
Puts a whole bunch of like MAGA alt-right stuff on his computer. I thought it was hilarious that they found when they did this, when Compliance did the search, they found Tiki Torch and like a Hawaiian shirt. Yo, if I was MAGA, I would be offended because that is stereotypical representation. So stereotypical. We got dudes in GQ doing, we got dudes in magazines or wherever doing photo shoots, and you got me in a Tiki Torch and a Hawaiian shirt, like he would just post up with that at his desk. Needless to say, his father, zero tolerance for racism, all of that alt-right stuff, not in our office. You gotta go.
I was all for it. I thought it was fucking hilarious. And I also like that that's where Brayden's head goes to. Like, that's what you put for them to find. But I'm not going to front. I didn't even realize that Rick losing the internship, Brayden had anything to do with that. I just thought it was Tate being Tate, because we all know Tate is the jackass that he is. And he needed, someone in that spot that could bring him the notoriety, the glitz, the glamour. So I didn't even think anything of it. And then you see that Brayden set this whole plan into motion. And I think Brayden is way smarter than we thought or gave him credit for, right? Like, we all know Brayden is a quick thinker. Like, at any moment, I mean, it was actually him that kind of saved the asses with Noma, because it was him speaking up and saying what he did that got the other two talking, and then had the plan set in motion there. So Brayden is very fast on his feet. And so for him to come up with that diabolical plan of getting the intern out and getting Rick in, despite knowing that his dad was not gonna like it, but he played on the fact that his uncle liked course correct, right? Like, if you remember when he first got there, Uncle told him how genius it was that he built something like that. It was just dumbing his ass to testify in open court, Right. So I did love that he played on his uncle's need for greed in that aspect, so he could use that to sell what he needed to get Rick in the building. Brayden is just way more calculated than I thought. Like, there are parts of him where you see him throughout this episode and you see his soft side come into play, with Kiki, but also with the fact that the guilt that he has over what happened with old girl. What's Bob head called? What's her name? She got the bob haircut. She lived Lauren. Bob. Lauren. We gonna call her Bob. Because I'm bad with names. It's gonna be Bob.
You gonna call her Bob. We gonna call Lauren because we remember.
We gonna call her Bob. No, I'm just playing. So. But yeah, the fact that he feels guilty about what they did to Lauren, but in the same respects, is willing to do whatever he needs to do to get Rick in a spot so that they can continue to make money in this drug game was genius. Brayden is smarter than we give him credit for, I think, honestly.
Exactly. And he showed it on display because the same way he got him out and, he was able to hook up with Kiki because Kiki saw that he stepped up for her and put two and two together. I also keep my eye on Kiki because I'm like, what is your role in all of this? Like, what is your true ulterior motive? I don't think this was just out of her appreciation for what Brayden did. Like I said, power, everybody has their own agenda. So I'm definitely watching Kiki to see what's up. But that second part
has something to do with it. I think the uncle has something to do with it. Because remember, he's sick.
Something to do with what?
On him. He was like, Kiki, keep an eye on him. So I don't know. I think the uncle and Kiki, I don't know.
All right, well, that's something that definitely keep an eye. You gotta keep an eye on everybody.
I think they have a plan. I think there's a plan and end game. Yeah.
Right. And yeah, the same way I say you gotta keep your eye on everybody, I'll definitely keep my eye on them. So how do we get Tariq in? Tariq, who already has a deal in place with Tate, finds out when he shows up day one of the internship, hey bro, you don't really got that deal with Tate anymore because Brashandria, aka light skin Keisha, she comes in day one. She's hyped. I love when Tariq walked up to her. He was like, what are you doing here? She's like, existentially? Like she entered it mad deep. And he's like, but you mean like here? Yeah, like in here. Like here. And he finds out that she got the internship. And he's like, yo, you gave my internship away. She was like, you didn't give me nothing. Because she doesn't even understand. And we find out later, Tate tells him that his name is too hot. got bad for business. You saw when Stephen Ott made his return and told him that his polling numbers are down. He needs to get a wife and he needs to figure that out. Brayden also, and he needs to get money up. He needs to get his numbers up and he needs to uphold his image, right? Yep. So we see later on, Brayden comes in, gives him a donation under the Weston name. In return for that money, he was able to get Brashandria in so that Tariq did not have an internship, which in turn left him the opportunity to go work for the Weston. So it's like two birds with one stone. And Tate, Tate is always going to look out for Tate. So we already know the vibes there. So that was like ingenious. And Tariq was none the wiser because it wasn't weird for Tate to kind of snake him like that. He just thought that maybe this time he wouldn't. But he did, and now that left it open for Tariq to come in and work on the internship, which, like you said before, his father was not having. That man said all of Brayden's name, coming in, doesn't want this kid by his son, but the uncle says, how are you? And it was funny when he said that. He was like, you the same guy who just fired somebody for having alt-right stuff, but then you're not going to hire a young black kid who was exonerated, who was cleared of charges in court.
That's your son.
That's your son. Your son screwed him over, and now you don't want to hire him? How's that gonna look? Like, and you can tell their relationship is such big brother, little brother, that when the little brother has the point, the father can't say nothing. He just walks away upset because he's like, whatever. As long as y'all make me money, I don't care. This is annoying.
It's very much
I'm done.
Trace
so now Tariq
Brayden.
is in.
It's the big version of Trace and Brayden in my eyes, because
I like that.
I Trace is very hot-headed, essentially like the dad. Brayden is more so the cool, laid-back vibes, and it just is crazy. I love every time that the dad is mad at Brayden. Trace is like, oh, you in big trouble. Trace cannot wait for Brayden to get in trouble and be disowned so he can get more of that inheritance.
Ass.
I'm like, listen, I know you want the money, okay? But and I love that every time Brayden is like, you forget the person that saved your motherfucking life? Like, we doing this? But yeah, I do like watching that relationship play out. And it does show us that there are a lot of moving pieces in this. So we are only on episode 2. And we have been introduced to so many different moving pieces, players in the game, with Tate needing to uphold his image and get a wife. And, we've seen him courting old girl in last week's episode, but we also see that he has a past with the new professor at Stansfield. So we're going to see that come into play somehow, some way. There's a story there. There's
going to be a conflict
to unfold. Yeah, like there's a lot going on there. And, we're seeing in this office, this is literal, where greed literally happens on a daily basis. This is Wall Street. Like, these dudes are cutthroat. They don't care about nobody, nothing except for the almighty dollar. So, to have all of those people come into play there's a lot going on. And it's like, you really got to pay attention watching these episodes, because if you just for 1 second sleep on a character or a moving piece, like say you're not feeling Effie that week, Effie made a play in this one too. Like, there's a lot going on that we had to talk about. Like, Effie is sitting on something herself, and so there's just a lot of shit going on.
Exactly. And we see when he gets in, Tariq gets in, Brayden continues to make those moves. He has Kiki. Kiki ask him to clean up the conference room. And, Kiki's like, oh shit, I forgot interns actually do shit. So excuse me, sends Tariq over to the conference room where these guys are openly sniffing coke. And he keeps that in his mind. Then they go to the strip club afterwards and they're having that conversation. And Tariq is breaking down everything that Brayden had in his mind in real time. And he sees the game. And he sees the same dollar sign all of us sees when that was gonna go down. So that was like masterful by Brayden to be able to lock in, get that plan off, and be able to say, hey, Tariq, this was your idea. I brought it up. You said no, and now you wanted to say it. So it kind of absolves him, all the while not knowing that he was orchestrating stuff in the background, kind of taking the position that Tariq took in the previous seasons with Brayden and with everybody else, moving the chess pieces into position in order to execute. Looking at the chat now, like I see everybody talking about Trace's Juneteenth joke where he's like, "Oh, we gonna start celebrating Juneteenth now."
Bro, when he said that, I was like,
he was like, "Yeah."
And he was like, what did he say afterwards? He was like, well, he said something about Juneteenth and we're all gonna get it off. And then he said, well, shoot,
yeah,
he made another side joke about
it's basically
it.
that they're basically like their summer home would be empty, so like they would be able to like they would be able to party.
He's such an asshole. Like Trace, it's almost amazes me that he's not got his ass beat more often, because honestly, like he's so left field. Like I don't know where Trace, I mean, obviously I know where he gets it from. It's the elitist, attitude that he's had growing up with a silver spoon in his mouth, but it's just like, damn, bro, like you don't watch yourself, like just chill out for a second. But there was a lot of moving pieces in this episode, like literally a lot of moving pieces.
Facts. And I think I got a term for you for how you feel about Trace right now from the good brother Mars. Says it's Tracism. It's straight Tracism.
Mars, you always be on point, bro.
It's straight Tracism, man.
That's all it is.
Listen. Power After Hours, your favorite power podcast, tapping in with you, talking about Need versus Greed, the second episode of season 3 of Power, Book 2, Ghost. So many secrets. We see Brayden and Effie talking together after Tariq is talking about the internship and everything. And they talk about Lauren, like, yo, Brayden's like, yo, we got to tell him. And Effie's like, nah, we got to take that to the grave because he's not going to trust us if we tell him the truth. So we got to take it. We will blow this whole shit up if we reveal the truth, even though we were trying to protect him. At the same time, he was telling Brayden, I'm not trying to sell to Wall Street. Told Effie, don't sell at Stansfield. It's too hot. It's too hot because of course correct. Meanwhile, not only does Effie have a brick for Stansfield, it looks like she's setting up her own app.
Yeah, of course.
So,
perfect.
Right.
I was like, girl, you can't come up with a better name than that. Like, we just gonna keep it the same, but add a P at the beginning. Like, come on.
They say it in the chat. That's McDowell's. They say it in the chat. That's McDowell's.
Exactly what it is. It's like, well, if you can't be the big one, you can at least be a smaller version of it. It's like, girl.
It's like they got the tutor. They got the tutor. We got the study with you.
I was like, yeah, that's not gonna tip the feds off. Seeing that app ain't gonna get them. Like the fuck? Come on now.
Oh man, yeah, man, yeah. It's crazy. I'm looking to see where that's going to like. It looked like she hesitated on it, like she wasn't trying to launch the app. So we'll see if she actually goes through with it. I think the guilt and everything is kind of getting on. Maybe she's just scared of what it could be because do believe. If another app starts popping on campus and they're selling drugs again, I ain't gonna lie, it might be successful. It might be successful because if the campus wants it back, everybody will the people who need to know will know. But I wouldn't call it course perfect.
No,
I wouldn't call it course perfect. I would have called this something completely different. But I get her vibes. Or someone else is gonna come in and take its place.
No, I think the only thing that's keeping her from pushing go is the fact that she loves Tariq. I think that she is in love with Tariq. And I think that it's going to take him either cheating on her with Diana or doing something crazy for her to be like, you know what, fuck this, fuck you, push go. I think the only reason she hasn't is because she does not want to hurt Reek. And that's what I think is keeping her from pushing go. But trust me when I say she gonna push that shit at some point because he gonna piss her off. Just saying.
Facts. Got a super chat from my guy Jacoby Hawkins. Thank you, Jacoby. Effie is insecure, contradicting, and manipulative. She gonna get caught using those lockers with Diana probably.
Yeah, Diana watching.
Diana watching. We see that. We see that, and that wasn't the only move Effie made, a slick move. She kind of coerced Diana into talking to that TA, Mr. My Queen, My Queen, My Queen. Started talking to that DA, TA, excuse me, talking to the TA about getting books.
Or is he a
ended
DA?
ended up getting a bookstore job, and you know, if you're not trying to buy the books and a TA is giving out free books, no doubt. Hustle however you gotta hustle. But then she slowly sees when Effie and Tariq come in, oh, this chick probably got me in here to get me away from Tariq, and that kind of startled her. But I'll say this:
a relationship with him, yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this: if she was trying not to pay for stuff in school, that bookstore, that was a great move. That was a great move because you get discounts of all kinds in the bookstore when you work out there. Listen, you work on the bookstore. Anybody who's ever worked at a college bookstore, if you know, you know. You are like one of the most VIP people on the campus. You are sought after. You are the plug. You've become the plug. You don't even realize you've become the plug because everybody's coming to you to see what them books prices looking like and what you can do for them. So yeah, it makes no mistake to me that Diana is in the place where she needs to be in order to grind to get that book money.
And Diana, honestly, you got to think of it from her. She's in the right place, multiple places. She's got this bookstore. She's got this nice room with Brayden's sister. Who knows what she's going to find out, from, about the Westons being in that room, you know what I'm saying? Which is information that at some point Tariq may need that would put her back in, his good graces in terms of him being in a relationship with somebody else. So, for her to see them together and even made that comment like, oh, we together now, because, they don't act like they're together. Honestly, if you look at them on campus, you would not know. They don't sit next to each other in class, because she wants to be known as her own woman, right? That's her thing. So, you wouldn't know they were necessarily together. And I think Diana's now putting two and two together. She's going to know that Effie is good at hiding and lying. Diana is actually somebody who likes to peek from the side. You saw what she did to her mom last season. So ain't no telling what she's about to find out and have in her bag for when the moment comes for her to take, good luck, Effie.
Yeah, shout out to Lakiba saying call it the TA brother Soul is saying she's getting used for books. It's a cold game out there, man. You gotta do what you gotta do on these campuses, man. Books are some bread, okay? Listen, they go us money. So I tell you, I ain't mad at the hustle for real. And look, she gonna have to do something before those books. Diana's gonna have to do something for those books because I don't know. Poppy might be cut off because. Unless she's gonna ask Kane, because Kane run that family now. Ain't no more taking no orders. Ain't no more talking down to me. Ain't no more you not ready. Ain't no more you don't trust me. Kane looked at his pops. Mírame. I'm the captain now.
You
straight like that. And let's talk about this because you want to talk about Lorenzo doing the smartest, stupidest thing ever, where he tries to clean up his mistake, right? Months have gone by. We cannot find Zeke's murder. Apparently, he's been searching, right? He's been searching. Probably like the same way OJ said he was searching for the real killers. You know what I mean? Like, and how did that search go? I don't know if maybe there's mirrors involved and he could point. I don't know. I mean, that the statute of limitations is over. We can admit. If people was riding, can admit. People can admit, like, I don't know. I think it's a little sketchy. But yeah, the same way they didn't find them killers, Lorenzo didn't find them either. So we've seen this struggle since really the beginning of Ghost, right? About Kane wanting to be the next in line to hold down the Tejada crowd. When his pops wasn't there, he said, we need to groom Drew. Not Kane. Kane is a hothead. Exactly. For screaming on Monet. Yeah. So, and I will say this. Lorenzo wasn't all the way wrong. But
No.
I think he underestimated Kane completely, and you see it with this whole seek and destroy mission, right? Yep. He's like, yo, you want to be the number one? You want me to trust you again in this family? Your mom is looking for these killers. Find them. Go press somebody out. Go find the killers. It took Kane 2 business days. Maybe less.
That long?
Less than 2 business. I'll say less than 2 business. Less than 2 business days to figure it out.
Yeah, because it was that night that he hunted old dude. It did not take long. Okay.
Exactly.
Like, it was not long.
He finds the pilot.
When you look at it, Lorenzo is supposed to be this big dude, right? Like machismo. Like I run the streets. You know, you couldn't find out who the fuck did it. You couldn't find out nothing. Like what's going on, Poppy? Like
he'd have had to ask himself. He'd have to ask himself.
Monet was she was kind of feeling the same way too.
Right. She's like, yo, how you got all these resources? How you got all these resources? You still can't find my son's killer. It's a little suspect. So he did make it make sense, because Kane, what does Kane do? He finds the pilot that was on the plane, and I guess another attendant. After some light torture, something slight, he finds out that it was a bald guy. He finds out that it was a bald guy who had a coat with a big collar and a broken tail light. Black coat, big collar, broken tail light. He gets that description. So he's like, okay. So he's thinking about it and like, all right, I'll keep that in the back of my mind. Then we see Drew and Everett are still having their minor conflict, because Drew wants to be more out about their relationship. Everett is saying, chill, I'm trying to go to the league. We can't do this now, but I want you at my signing party. He's going to OKC apparently, so shout out to him. But he's going. He got drafted, whatever. So his signing party, whatever. Right. So he got his signing party. Wants Drew to be there. Drew says, "I'll be there." Drew gets jumped on the way, allegedly by a guap, one of the old guaps, who's telling him, "I know what you did. I know what you did to our people. You better let everybody know the guaps did this to you." Snatches his chain. Spray paints his back like he's Hulk Hogan in the NWO. and GTG's him on the back. I was about to say, somebody cue up the Jimi Hendrix, the NWO theme song, because I thought I was watching classic WCW. The way this man starts, GTG in his back, flips him around, and takes off. Right here is where my alarm bells went off.
Okay,
why didn't he kill him? Yeah. Like, you had the drop on him. Why would you let him get alive? If you knew that he wiped out that whole GTG, him and his family, why would you let him get back to his family alive? Why would you want to advertise that it was that gang that did it? Why wouldn't you end it there? Why wouldn't you kill him and let the gang sign be on him as a message to his family? Why didn't you do it? Right? And he was just talking so much. And the second thing that was in the back of my mind, that also was in the back of Kane's mind, was how you knew that Drew did it. Because I that didn't come up until their final conversation for me. Like, it clicked. But when he said all of that, I was like, wait, it wasn't super public. Who would have known? Nobody survived. So who would have known? Was it in the news? Right, but even so, he would have been in jail, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, so and just like Kane said, like, only family knew that shit. That's it.
Exactly.
Like, so you better be able to tell me a little bit more. There was just so many things, and then the kicker for the ring, for Zeke's ring, like, to be on this dude, when Kane tracks him down. It's just
less than a business day, by the way. Again, Lorenzo says, go find the killer, whatever, and he takes a look at Zeke's box. That's what I think, looking back, he started to piece stuff together. Like, he had his working theory and said, all right, I'm going to go find him. Less than one business day, found homeboy and his crew.
which means Lorenzo, you've had a span of months at this. No. It can't, no. It can't be months. He's had weeks. Let's give him weeks, okay?
No,
Let's
he's
just
had months.
say-
It's over the summer. It was over the summer. Remember, they came back for the fall semester. So he's had months.
Okay. So it has been months.
He's
I
had
was trying to
weeks.
be my man.
He's
yeah.
You was shooting him bail. Bail denied. Bail request
trying,
denied. Don't shoot that man no bail.
Damn. Sorry, Papi. Now, what I am gonna say is for Kane to have done all of that and piece all of that together in such a short of amount of time, and as he's popping off, they get this guy, they bring him to the restaurant from season 1 that we just ain't seen nothing of. And, you know, he starts to say, like, I was paid up. And then Monet just got tired of hearing and shoots him up. But, you know,
Right.
what I also realized was if you are somebody that's guilty and somebody says something, like you tense up a little bit. Like you can only fake the funk for so long. And Kane realized that. He was like, your face told the whole story. Like, you're supposed to be somebody, and you can't even lie right. Like, the way Kane was talking to his pops, it's amazing to me that Lorenzo didn't kill him as he was walking to his car. Because I legit thought we was about to lose Kane today. I thought it was over for him as he was, because they gave us that shot of him walking to his car, and you can see Lorenzo behind him, and I just knew it was a wrap. But at the end of the day, how was Lorenzo also going to explain that to Monet? So a lot of moving pieces, man, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, Lorenzo, how did you survive in the streets for this long? Like, to be such a macho dude and make it to prison, right? You ran this big ass organization, and you this stupid now in present day? Was it because we didn't have technology back then? Like you was able to move around. You know what I'm saying? Like
he went in pre-smartphone. You said he went in pre-smartphone.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Like, did you go in before AOL Instant Messenger, my guy? Like, because this is terrible. There's no way you could be this dumb. I refuse to believe.
Well, I think
Monet got to come out of grief and see it for herself too. I need her to come out of the grief for a second and just realize
now
her
that
husband ain't shit.
Well, now that they killed the killer, right? She's probably not going to be thinking about it anymore. And you know, the chat, I see the chat active saying it. Poppy is sloppy. So I think that's part of it. I think that's part of it. And the other thing is, he thought it would be simple. He underestimated Kane another way. He thought Kane was stupid. He thought Kane was a weapon. He used Kane like a gun. He's literally treated Kane like I gave you power, right? And Kane treated him like made you look. Because now he thought he was the one pulling the strings when Kane has been the puppet master all along. Because another part of that, when he found dude and he got the chain and Zeke's ring was on the chain, right? I remember, and shout out to Kelly, my wife. She had said it. I don't think we you know, I was looking with like a question mark on my face, and she was like, was that ring on Drew's chain before? And I was like, I don't think so. Rewinded. No, it wasn't there. We didn't see it. So I'm like, where the hell did this ring come from? At first, I'm thinking maybe it was an editing mistake. Maybe, you know, maybe I was wild and I didn't see it. But no, they were on point. They did it blatantly because Lorenzo did it blatantly. When Homeboy was on the table, when Homeboy's in the chair getting interrogated, and he was like, kill your son, I got hired for this job. I don't know anything about that. And Monet Snap didn't want to hear it. And I think that's when Lorenzo started getting tight, a little shook, because he was like, oh, he's about to drop dime. So when Kane and Lorenzo go to dispose of Homeboy's body, Kane was talking about it and was like, yeah, I know you killed Zeke. Yo, that, I'm not going to lie, that was one of the coldest scenes in Power. When he was like, yeah, I know you killed them too. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he starts breaking down where he asked him randomly, I see you got the taillight fixed. Yup. Yeah.
What are you getting at, Kane? What are you getting at?
Yep. He's like, yeah, I know you killed Zeke. Broke it down. broke down the description, broke down all of that, said that he did it in a couple of days, what you've been trying to do for months, right? It breaks down and then he tells him, and this might be to your point about him being technology unsavvy, right?
Yeah.
He tells him, yo, I knew I never seen Zeke wearing that ring as a chain. I went to his IG and looked at his IG to confirm. He didn't have that. You planted it on him. You hired this dude. And he's like, hell, you hired me to do a job. You asked me to do a job. I did the job. Just know that I know. And once he brings up Monet, Lorenzo was acting like Martin in that scene where he told Gina, step. You want to go step. And then when you walk, all right, Gina. You won, all right? You won. That's what exactly. Yo, Lorenzo, I never seen a man cower like that in my life in power. Like when he was like, yo, I fucked up, all right? I didn't know it was Zeke. I thought it was Mecca. I never saw Mecca before. Right. And he saw him from the back. He thought it was another guy. And then he hugs him. And yo, it felt like when Kane hugged him, it was supposed to be this loving, endearing scene, this mad empathetic scene. And Kane goes in his ear. Oh man, Kane like, you was a bitch. Basically called him a bitch. Like, yo, what kind of weak shit is that?
Bruh, I mean, that's essentially what he did is he called his own pops a bitch. And the way he handed him the bag is what got me. He just hooked right in his chest. And you
work for me now.
When I'm the captain of this ship. Like, you tight when you don't say nothing back. Like, you just like,
he can't. He got nothing to say. Kane ran a Boston on his entire life just now. Like, he literally was like stuck. Like, yo, you work for me now. I run this. I'm the number one.
At what point were they gonna stop looking at Kane as the weapon? Like, he played Monet for a half of a season. He wasn't that smart back then, though. He was making stupid moves.
He was super impulsive, yeah.
But I think that those stupid moves got him to where he is today, where he was able to make these decisions. And not only that, what gets me is Kane essentially has been trying to tell his pops, like, Drew is not ready. Like, Drew is legit still fucking with the dude that I told you about last season was a problem. He told him Everett was a problem last season. And yet we still have Drew missing out on meetings, turning his phone off during times when you don't know what the fuck. You are literally in a drug family. You don't get the luxury of turning your phone off unless you're dead. Okay? Like, you got to be ready to go at any time, especially if you are the head of the organization, dude. Like, you being off and about hiding in a dorm room, which dude that don't even want to claim you. Let's not even start there. Like, come on, man. Like, make smarter decisions. And Drew you can see in this episode how much of a hold Everett has on him. Because when Everett tells him, I don't want nothing to do with you no more because you missed my party. Not only the fact that he says, yo, I got beat up. And Everett was just like, again? Like,
yo, again is crazy. Again is crazy.
I was like, yo, the fact that we've seen Drew get his ass beat twice at this point, I'm like, But it was like Everett didn't even care because he's tired of this lifestyle. But you see something click in Drew, like he almost turns into this psycho ass, like, stalker lover. You know what I'm saying? Like the kind that would go out and kill everybody associated with you, thinking that it's going to bring you back. And so that's the scary part of Drew that we've not really witnessed yet. And I'm actually scared for what that brings out of him, because if that can send him off like that, that's not the type of person that you want running an organization at all.
Exactly. So Kane was right. This might be the Kane is right podcast.
Yeah.
Right? Because Kane dropped knowledge, and he said he might have his flaws, but he knows this game. And you know, he has his own ways with manipulation. You see him kind of working Effie and doing all of that and working in that realm. He was looking for connects even before Noma. You imagine if you would have got to deal with that connect and then Noma came around.
Oh my God.
That would have been, you want to talk about stress, bruh. You want to talk about stress. Power After Hours, your favorite power podcast. Tapping in to these comments. I see shout out to HFG and Mars talking about the I Own You side, and HFG talking about that he was channeling his inner rock. This is the second time we've heard a family member say that they own them. But this time, and they both, it's facts now. Rock is the leader of the operation, and Kane now, he can't tell him nothing. But
what's he gonna do? What is you gonna do?
Well, the only play Lorenzo has, if he wants to go full scorched earth and he doesn't care about life anymore, he tells Rock, and then he tells Rock Kane knew and didn't tell her, so that he could get his position in the family. That way they both die. That's really the end game that he has. Or when Kane is ready to get rid of Lorenzo, he tells Rock, yo, I fucked up. I thought it was that dude. I put it together. It wasn't him. It was like I found out that he hired Son, did all of that. That's the only way. That's the only other way. Remember, Monet was basically out the door. No, I'm saying Kane would do that. Kane would do that.
Oh, for sure.
The second way was Kane could go to her and say like, hey, Poppy was the one who killed Zeke, and then break out all the evidence and just make it seem as though
Monet, though, right?
he was watching. Yeah, I'm saying there's two. The only way Lorenzo.
You said Rock.
Let me step back. Rock? Let me step back. I was saying that the same way how Rock said to her little brother, "I own you," is what Kane was doing to Lorenzo. And that's what the chat. That's what the chat connected. That's what the chat connected, right? So I'm saying like people, the same way Rock was the leader of her operation, Kane is the leader of his now. Like he's the number one, whether Lorenzo wants to or not. Like he's gonna get all the tasks. Who knows when Monet wakes up after this fog? What I was saying was, I mean, yeah, she was super depressed. She was super depressed, and now she's
going through it.
She's definitely going through it. So now he has to. I'm saying the only way Lorenzo could get out of it is if he blows up his spot so that him and Kane dies. Kane could get ahead of it if he wants Lorenzo out and say, basically like make it seem like he's been watching and he didn't think that it was that straightforward, and then blow. But we'll see. But all I know is now Lorenzo work for Kane Tejada. Kane Tejada is the boss. Kane Tejada is the boss. And ain't he a junior? Ain't he a junior?
He is.
Lorenzo, and what's even crazier is Lulu has more freedom in his thing than Lorenzo does right now. Because they ain't fucking with him. Kane owed him. Lorenzo, bro, at this point, Lorenzo might have to start checking in, like letting him know when he gets home type stuff. Like Kane is the dad. Kane is the dad right now.
Where you at, Poppy? Because I'm pulling up. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I remember that he's a junior is because when they arrested his ass last season, they had on his name on the board, Lorenzo Tejada Jr. Remember? I think it was
right.
That yeah, like he had him on the board as that. So I was like, yeah, that is a junior, which makes it even worse. Your own replica, bruh, over here just making you feel low. Like he really he had to go home to Monet that night. You understand? Like, and I my head would just be like, I'm too tired. I can't talk. Like, I got nothing to say because as of right now, your own son runs you. And I really want to see how the conversation is going to go between Kane and Drew when Drew finds out that Papi don't make the decisions no more.
All right. I mean, who knows? Part of Drew might be in a dark place right now because part of them being able to take over Wall Street was Drew being able to, they try to call Kane. They put the plan into action because they found Homeboy who was doing he was the exercise coach who was actually moving the weight. So Drew killed that dude, got him out of there. So now they'll be able to move the weights at the Western Firm and all of Wall Street. But Drew might be in a dark place right now. He might not even care. Drew might be the weapon they thought Kane was. So that's gonna be eager to do that.
About that.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. Drew's in a dark place. He don't got his boo, and all he got is like work. So he gonna work. He gonna work people over. Like it's gonna be crazy. So all right, let me get this.
Watch out for Everett. But go ahead.
Yeah, Everett might be on that watch. Yep.
Yeah.
We get this super chat up. Lakiba Brooklyn, thank you so much. This is
Thank you.
that is super generous. I appreciate you.
So dope.
Just showing love. The reviews are lit. The chat is on fire. Just found the channel last week. Subscribe immediately. Appreciate you. Appreciate the love. Thank you for joining us. Check out all the other reviews too. You'll see we've been going crazy across the entire history of this show. We've been having a good old time. Enjoyed ourselves, talking all things power, kikiing with friends, building this power community, best power community on the internet in whatever multiverse you got. So thank you so much for locking in. Tell a friend as always. Definitely appreciate the love. All right. I saw, let me see. I thought another. Martin Louis says the police have to come together like the Avengers to take down Reek and his criminal business. Yo, you saying Blanca's gonna be in some street in Southside and Blanca's gonna be on some street and freaking Greg is gonna be like on your left. And all the DAs, right?
Shit, like,
you gonna see all of
the realest. That is the realest.
That's the realest comment
ever.
That's the realest comment. They're gonna have to get to, and that's a great segue into wrapping up the show, talking about the RICO case being built with Jenny and Sax and Lauren and all of this. She wants Lauren to give up all the names because she's telling him Reek is at the head of the empire. Lauren ain't hearing that. She's like, yo, Effie and Brayden, they definitely try to kill me. I want to talk to my parents, but I'm not. I know you need a case to have Reek, and you don't have one, so we're not just going to fabricate one. She doesn't want to be a pawn in this game, but the DA convinced her by saying, your parents are at risk, and you're at risk. If anybody else found the people that try to kill you, find out that she's alive, right? So we have that. And then, it's this ongoing, will they, won't they find evidence against Tariq and the Tejadas, right? You got Whitman, who's still pissed about Carrie Milgram, that posts up on Monet, harassing her, breaking her side view to press her out about Carrie Milgram's murder. And of course, Monet ain't being rattled by none of that. But Whitman is letting her know, we're coming for you. We're gonna get you. And it's gotten personal, which means he's vulnerable to make mistakes. Monet, on the other hand, is working with McLean and lets him know what happened. That sets up the meeting between Sullivan and Whitman and Blanca, where they have the big board together. Jenny's trying to build towards Reek, and Whitman, although they don't mess with him, they're tired of him going overstepping his bounds and undermining authority and the chain of command, because they think they won't get the RICO case unless they have some proof. And Blanca is saying, my bosses ain't gonna give it because it's hard to believe a college kid is the head of a criminal drug empire. But Whitman gives them what they need to probably spark this.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, for the life of me, I couldn't believe that any person that had a brain would believe that a 19-year-old is running this type of organization. Yes, Reek is, for what it's worth, Reek does know a lot. He does do a lot. But at the end of the day, this kid was like, 5 when this shit has been popping off? Like, come on. Like, you can't possibly lead me to believe that this kid is the one who is the head. And so for Whitman to bring in that, he's like a dog with a bone. Like, he's so devastated about the fact that he didn't get his second chance with Carrie Milgram. You know what I'm saying? And so he's just trying to figure out what the fuck happened. In his heart of hearts, he knows it was Monet. Like, Monet did it. That's the bottom line. We all know Monet did it, but we don't know that, right? But he's basically letting them know, like, I can put the pieces together for you to show you that this is the person you're after. It's actually Monet Tejada. And that is the smartest thing that I probably will say anyone in the legal department as of yet has presented, because that is actually plausible. It's true. It's something that you probably could prove if you ask for, I don't know, taxes, anything that is anything in the United States. So I actually was like, okay, finally we're getting somewhere, because at some point we can't keep just blaming Reek for everything. He doesn't even have the means financially to do half the shit they're saying that he does, which is crazy. So now for Monet to be on the board, it's going to make more sense as they start to build their cases. Blanca's going to be able to get the RICO. They all are going to have to realize that there's a target on their backs, because at some point Davis also has to realize that he's got a target on his back, because the person that you brought in to work with you is actually working against you, which is crazy to me that Davis is not smart enough to see what Sachs is doing on the back end. For as smart as Davis is, you mean to tell me that you gave Sachs your brother's case file, which they don't know it's his brother, right?
Right.
They don't know that that's his brother.
No. They don't know yet. That hasn't been revealed.
But
we know they don't know.
Yeah, you know that Sachs is another person. You give him a bone, he's gonna run with it. Like, you know, he's never gonna put it down. So for you to give him something so important to you and expect him to not find out the smoke and mirrors, right? Like, I thought that was really dumb of Davis. So there's a lot of mistakes that are happening on Davis's part, and I think it's going to lead to the demise of someone in the Tejada. Like, at some point, somebody in their organization has to take a fall, because we've seen it in everyone's organization, right? Like, we've seen Ghost and how they took him down for a minute. So it's only a matter of time before the Tejada's got to take that fall with all of the pieces that they have, you know, with the bodies that are building up. So I don't know. What I do know is we got a lot of problems, okay? Because when them cops get together, especially Blanca, I can't stand that hoe. When she starts working, everybody's in trouble. Everybody.
Exactly. Then we also have this little case of Noma being supported by the feds in their system, able to freely sell, but the feds also trying to build a case against the Tejadas. And if that 2+2 is put together, if they put those pieces together, then what happens, right? What? Like it's very interesting to see this all come together and the eventual blow up. We see Sachs going into Davis's phone and finds out that he was talking to Monet. Now, the way he was shocked, I don't think he knew that he was talking. I feel like he did, or he should have, because he was asking him about Whitman and like harassing Monet, and it was out there that he was the client. So to have her on speed dial, you know, that makes sense. But he had her on the burner phone that he kept in his office, which I think he's just being weird. He's just being irresponsible. Like he's underestimating. He thinks he has Sachs, all the power over Sachs, because Sachs couldn't get a job. He got fired from the DA's office. Doesn't know that Sachs has the capability to double cross him. Or if he does, he's just completely disregarding that. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We will see. And I think him in being the CI gives him cover, but I think he has a big target on his back this year. Like, he's putting himself once again in the line of fire. And that man, remember, his murder attempt happened on another show. Didn't happen on Ghost. So that kind of opens the door for him to be back on the big board. You feel me? Like, Tariq already went to jail. Tariq ain't going back to jail. So
no, he can't go back.
We're going to have to watch that. We're going to have to watch that for sure.
I can't read no more Dear John letters with Tariq.
Oh, yeah, no.
That was too much. All right.
What's up, little nigga? You right where you belong. Yo, I love. Yo, that's one of the funniest quotes. Yo, how you petty from the grave, Ghost?
Bruh, the fuck? Like, that was the word. I just knew it was gonna be such a nice letter about Raina and him. But no, when any letter that starts with "What's up, little nigga?"
Yeah, you
ain't
know
nothing
it's real.
good coming from that. Nothing.
You know it's real. This is a good place. This is a good place to end with the good brother Jaleel. Jetty's case is already messed up. She has Sachs as her CI, which is illegal, and she has Lauren and Witsec at her house, and nobody knows that either. Yeah, man.
Her supervisor knows. Her supervisor knows.
Allegedly. We all find that out. It's a good place to end it. Jaleel might be in Witsec too. Because remember, I ain't forget, brother. I know I'm waiting for May 26th. I ain't forget. All right, Jaleel, y'all better get y'all hashtags, y'all t-shirts, y'all murals. Y'all better get all of that. Y'all better storm against the criminal justice system for that, brother. Because and it hates me to do this, but I'm a man of the system, bro. I'm the man of the system. Like, I didn't do it to you. You know what I mean? We shall overcome it, all of that. But sometimes it's like, yo, you could be an abolitionist, but for Jaleel, nah. You gotta turn a blind eye, bro. Sean has been the Free Jaleel movement. The Free Jaleel movement is alive and strong. I don't know, bro. I'm waiting for May 27th. And May 27th, he gonna be like, yo, why can't I get on the yo, I can't get on the live. Yo, Jeff, something wrong with my account. You know how like when people go to their job and their badge don't scan, and you like, yo, there must be a mistake. And security's like, well, you better clear that up because you can't go upstairs.
Can't go upstairs. So you better figure it out.
Jaleel gonna come in and hold the door like Hard Knocks. He's gonna be like, yo, why the door ain't opening? Yo, y'all play too much.
yeah, we play too much. Pack your shit and go home.
Don't
come back.
Jaleel. Jaleel about to be like, yo, Chrissy, what's your cash app, man? I know I can get back on this live, yo. Jeff ain't the boss of you. Look, you see, that's how I'm like Kane. That's how you rap. That's how you smoke them out. Look at that. As soon as now if you want to do that, hashtag Chrissy in the building. Hashtag Chrissy in the building. Chrissy, tell the people where they can find you. We out of here.
Oh my God, you can find me everywhere that there are socials at Chrissy B. Davis. What about you, Jeff?
Chrissy, Beauty Talk in the building. You already know the vibes, big vibes. So follow her all there. Instagram, all socials. Jeff J Says. YouTube, Jeff J Says. YouTube, of course, Power After Hours, your favorite power podcast. You like sports, you like betting. I'm putting more of my betting content up there too. You know, as always, gamble responsibly and have fun, and don't use money you ain't gonna don't lose money that you're gonna regret losing. You know what I mean? Amen. Lose money that you could you could be comfortable seeing go out the door because it should be for entertainment. Don't be dropping y'all mortgages and whatnot, you know? Exactly. So this is Power After Hours, your favorite power podcast. You can find us everywhere. You get your podcast. You can follow us Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Definitely shout out everybody who gave a super chat. I appreciate y'all supporting the show. We try and do more and more for y'all, so it all helps. It all helps to show the love. Biggest thing y'all could do for me, tell a friend to tell a friend. I say that all the time. Whether you listening on podcast, watching the replay, or here live, definitely if you know somebody who likes power, you can send them the link. Everybody can't join live. Hell, sometimes we can't even join live. But everybody can't join live, so you can send it to them. They can watch in their leisure, listen on their leisure as well. Like, this is definitely, we've curated this space, us and the fans together, to make some place where we could talk about this show. And look, the show is dope. These first 2 episodes have been really dope. They're not playing around with us. They're getting to the storylines quick and crisp. No, they trim the fat. I really enjoy this, and I know y'all do too. This is why I say this is your favorite power podcast is because it's the fans podcast, and it's the best because y'all make it the best. So definitely thank you for supporting us. Thank you for the love. Thank you for tapping in with us. And we're gonna talk to you next week. Programming alert. We're on Tuesday. Yep. Yeah, we're on Tuesday next week. It won't be around Monday, so Tuesday will be around. But subscribe, put on your notifications. You'll know when it's going to come on. See how that works? Follow the socials, you'll know. But Tuesday next week, all right? So y'all be safe out there. Enjoy the next episode of Power, watching Friday at midnight, and we will talk to you soon.
Peace.
Later, y'all.